Since 2006, the Half-Life 2 sandbox mod, Garry's Mod, has delighted players around the world. Whether it was for building constructions and messing around with the source engine's physics, making your own battle arenas to fight enemies, or putting ragdolls in compromising positions, Garry's Mod has it all. With the mod offering multiple ways to have fun, there is also another thing that has fascinated players to this mod, and it is what I'll be talking about in this video, and that is exploration. Whether it's exploring a futuristic neo-noir city, an alien world, or a neighborhood that somewhat resembles yours, there is something for everyone. But what makes exploration in Garry's Mod so unique? And why do we have such a strong fascination with exploring new worlds, even if it's in the virtual world? Let's jump in and find out. One of the things that I absolutely love doing in video games is exploring every nook and cranny. Sometimes to see if there might be hidden items or secrets, or sometimes because, well, I'm just curious to see what's there. Open world games are perfect for this, especially RPGs, and it's especially satisfying when your exploration rewards you with a cool new location, or a bunch of goodies. In Garry's Mod, the maps are generally a lot smaller, and more contained, but that doesn't mean that there can't be as many secrets and Easter eggs, or that exploration is less satisfying. There were two things I noticed semi-recently when playing Gmod. One was that half the time I had fun just walking around and taking in the ambience. Granted, feeling a little nostalgic with the source engine like I am with the gold source engine. Two, I noticed that with all the fantastical and interesting areas that you can visit in the game, which feels endless with the Steam Workshop, for some reason, what I found more interesting than an awesome spaceship, or say, something like a cool castle, I found myself playing this cozy Christmas map for what felt like a long time. I must have spent at least an hour in this small map, just walking around and soaking in the vibe. And looking back, I wanted to question, why? A part of it, I think, is the novelty of a snowy, white Christmas. Living in Australia, our Christmases are during summer, where it's normal to have a barbecue during Christmas. So a snowy Christmas to me has always been a novelty, and something you'd see in movies or on TV. The other part, however, I think is being attached to the familiar, in the sense that this is a cozy, warm home during Christmas. I think escapism is still a strong contender in exploration in video games, and our desire to travel and wander in real life definitely has something to do with it as well. But me being drawn to the Christmas map is what made me want to do this video, and look into why we're attracted to this kind of thing, as well as showcasing the seemingly limitless worlds that are available in Garry's Mod. For those who have never played Garry's Mod before, you can literally load up thousands of user-made maps, as well as download thousands of assets for you to play with. Whether it's NPCs, friend or foe, or set pieces to build your scenes, there's no real goal to the game, it just lets you do whatever you like in it, giving you freedom on how to play, even if it's just walking around and looking at stuff. I think a lot of the appeal with finding maps in Garry's Mod is the sheer amount of what you can find. From places from other video games or movies, or even those replicating real-life places. Remember that scene in The Matrix where Neo and Morpheus load up a dojo to train and fight each other? Well, I couldn't find the dojo created into a Gmod map, but I did find the subway. Anyway, this kind of reminds me of that, being able to load up any map you want to do whatever you want. And in case you're wondering, yes, there's even a Backrooms map. Well, many of them actually. Ugh, something about this environment feels icky to me. It's a far cry from the warm Christmas map, that's for sure. Feel like it's missing something. There we go. Perfect. Jesus, that's terrifying. Ah! Run! A lot of the comments that I've read regarding Garry's Mod maps in particular are that even though you're traveling alone in these levels, it never feels like you're truly alone, like there is something watching you, or someone potentially lurking around the corner. And a lot of people find the sensation creepy, and who can blame them? I often find myself, however, feeling a little differently, like I am visiting an abandoned place that was full of memories but now lies empty. It's hard to describe the feeling. It's almost like I'm in a dream. Another thing which I find makes Garry's Mod unique to me is that the maps that you download are created by other people from around the world. You're playing other people's creations, made from their imaginations, and sharing it with the world. It's like the closest thing to living in someone else's dream. I'm not sure if this is sounding a little sappy or creepy, but the intention is that I find that this is all rather fascinating. Other games, of course, have you exploring other people's creations, but Garry's Mod just feels that much more personal, like you've stepped into someone else's house, or dungeon? Yeah, I think I'll go easy with the metaphors. As mentioned before, there are maps in Gmod based on real-life locations, some of which I explored virtually first, before seeing the real thing. In one example, I was playing around and wandering through a map based on an area in Japan, just exploring and seeing if there were any cool secrets. Then, when I finally went to Japan for the first time, I had the biggest nerd moment when I turned the corner and thought, wait a second, I've seen this image before. Of course the real thing had more detail, but unfortunately I can't just fly around a no-clip in real life. Yet. So something that I should address is that technically, you could be playing Gmod with your friends, and not just by yourself. You can buddy up to build contraptions, join a roleplay server, some of them being questionable, or simply just do what you like, but with other people. The experience of course is a lot different when you have other people populating the world. Heck, it even feels different when there are other NPCs around. But there's something unique about traveling solo in the game. And it's a similar feeling when you play multiplayer maps in other games, but you're just wandering around by yourself. I remember when my dad was playing the original Call of Duty, and he loaded up a map offline, just to check it out himself. During that time, however, he didn't realize that my brother had joined the game, via LAN, and when he suddenly heard running footsteps and saw a shadow pass him by, he freaked out, because he was never expecting company. Sometimes you get that feeling in Garry's Mod. Like you know you're alone, but feel like at any moment, someone, or something, could pop out. Other times it feels like you're the last person on Earth, and just going on a leisurely stroll. Even the maps that are not very inviting still made me want to explore them, because they offer something interesting and intriguing, and, well, it's not real, so why not? We watch and play horror movies because they're fun after all, and not real. Seems obvious when I say it out loud. The sheer variety of levels once again is amazing, including some which look like nothing I've seen before. There was one map called Arcade, where I thought it'd be an old school arcade with pinball machines and arcade cabinets, but instead, it was this fever dream of an art project, and I think it's super cool. There are a lot of liminal space maps available as well, as evident with the Backrooms craze, and I think Garry's Mod has been a great place to experience these virtual worlds. Playing a few more levels, I realized that the Christmas map isn't the only cozy map that made me want to stay there for a long time. There were other maps, like this cool looking house surrounded by trees, that also gave me that cozy feeling. There's just something pleasant about these maps. It feels kind of strange. Basically you're sitting in front of a screen, seeing projected images that aren't even real, pressing keys to move around in a virtual world, but yet the feelings you get are real. I feel like these experiences would be elevated even more in virtual reality, and the more I think about it, the more I think that if we were to live in a truly dreadful world, would we want to take the blue pill and live in a fantasy, like in the Matrix, even if it is somewhat hollow or shallow? Can Garry's Mod offer an escape from reality like no other game can? Or is it just big sandbox fun? I think it could be both, but I think it depends on how you interpret it. You know what? I may be overthinking this, but sometimes I feel like when I'm playing a video game like Garry's Mod, late at night, regardless of whether I have work the next morning, it's like time suddenly stops for a moment. I'm not worrying about anything, and I'm just enthralled in this little escape, this little world that I loaded up, that might convey a different meaning to me than it does to you. This little blue pill that puts my mind at ease and lets me just explore a futuristic city or a cozy Christmas house. Or spawn a friggin' T-Rex to eat a bunch of terrorists in front of a McDonald's. I think overall, with the sandbox nature of the game, the increasing content in the workshop, and maps and assets being designed by many people all over the world, Garry's Mod makes for one unique gaming experience. And after being awarded as the best-selling PC exclusive to date, I think it's well deserved. Well done, Garry. So, if you're ever in the mood for some Gmod, be sure to explore an abandoned factory, strap a scientist to a makeshift vehicle, or visit a cozy Christmas house. And with Mariah Carey having thawed from the ice to grab her yearly paycheck, and Michael Bublé emerging out of his cave to fart on some Christmas presents, I say, Merry Christmas everyone, and a Happy New Year. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun making this video, and if you liked watching this video, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and check out some of my other videos. I hope to make many more and explore new topics in the new year. But until then, have a good one everyone. I'll look into why we're attached to this kind of thing, as well as showcasing the seeming... Who the fuck wrote this? Oh, me.